Shooter, big deer.
The fall is what drives whitetail hunters. It's year-round preparation for 15 seconds of chaos you just can't explain unless you've experienced it.
My heart is going a mile a minute right now.
The fall means something different to everyone, but for me it's leaves changing, cooler temps, the sound of a Coleman lantern, and those phone calls to friends and family after you release the perfect arrow.
Daddy just shot the big one.
The deer that you just said was a baby. Daddy just shot. It's a baby. I see baby. Look.
You see, the fall isn't about a big buck harvest or even where or how you shot it. It's the time of year and everything that comes with it.
Oh my God. This is unbelievable.
Welcome to the Fall Podcast, Season 9. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Today is May 5th, 2026, and we're back for another episode of the Fall Podcast. Today's episode is another Film the Fall, and it's an awesome episode. I've got my buddy Joe Davis on, and in a nutshell, Joe last year, he is new to the video productions and diving in headfirst. And this podcast comes from a great perspective of passion that he will basically, outside of family, he will do whatever he has to do to learn it and be the best at it that he can be. He literally put down the weapons all last fall to go film his buddies. Like, his weapon was his camera. So we talk about that, talk about a lot of gear, but we get into the nitty-gritty some stuff. And I want to thank everybody for the positive feedback on this series. I didn't know how it was going to be perceived because I feel like video and hunts is kind of like a niche thing. But wow, overwhelming amount of people really liked this series and wanted to keep going. Now, I will say we'll get back to regular scheduled programming here soon, but I'm having a lot of fun. Last week was Jared Scheffler, and that was a great one. Cody Cooper, Brian Lemke. I feel like I'm missing one in there too. Gosh. I don't know. I've got some really good ones lined up too. Not saying they're all going to be, excuse me, lined up right now, but we're going to get to them as I get to, record them. So I will say we'll do a little maybe longer intro today, just because I feel like I haven't been connected to the podcast and everyone and giving all the listeners outside of doing the recording. I feel like, or even in the recording, I feel like I haven't given the listeners my full attention. And that's just because, I know everybody's busy, but I don't know if I've been this busy. It's, there's a lot going on right now. First, work. My work life is very busy right now, doing a ton of different things. Second is my family. I should say first is family, but not really chronological order. I'm just kind of, family is key right now. My daughter just got done with dance, but we've been doing softball since February, and that's 3 nights a week right now. I'm coaching that team. I'm also the new president of the Little League. They asked me to step in as the president, so I'm doing that. And honestly, coaching is what I want to do. Like, eventually my goal is to coach older girls in softball. A lot of everybody knows that I baseball is probably one of my biggest passions, and with having a daughter, and she's just ate up with softball, and I want to give everything I can to her, and and I love to coach, and eventually I want to coach older girls and do that thing. So that's just kind of a little bit of a nutshell of what's going on. So, work, family, and, outside of family with the softball stuff. And then now it's turkey season. I actually I went hunting. I haven't even hunted with a weapon in my hand yet. Thursday, I went out and filmed Alex, And then Sunday, I took my daughter for her first time ever with a weapon in her hands. She was going to be the shooter. She was the shooter. And birds just didn't cooperate. We heard them, flew down. You know, they were vocal on the limb and vocal when they hit the ground, but they're getting pretty educated. I feel like the property we're on, I know there was 3 or 4 birds that have already been missed and shot at. So they shot right up, you know, when they hit the ground. So, and the weather's just been shitty. It's been either raining and really cold and windy. It's not very conducive with turkey hunting. We need to get some warmer temps, get those birds out in the fields, and haven't even really seen a lot of birds out in the fields, to be honest with you. So turkey hunting's here, you know, and then it's just, you know, outside of that, a lot of stuff just at home, you know, just upkeep with the house, lawn, you know, normal stuff that takes time and everything. It's just maybe I'm not managing my time very well right now. I will say I'm still kind of rehabbing my knee. It is, it's not 100%, but we're getting there. And it's, that has been the biggest mental hurdle I think I've had in a very long time. I'm still to the point where mentally it's just kind of got me screwed up in a way where I'm so out of shape right now, and that's not like me. And to even get the gumption or the drive to go outside of rehabbing it to kind of keep going has been very difficult. And I'm trying to find some answers to that. So that's just an internal battle I'm having. But everything's good. I mean, other than that, everything's good. I like being busy, but I will say the podcast has been on the back burner. That's the long answer to this. I've been doing the podcast enough just to get an episode out a week. And I feel terrible about that because there's a lot more I need to do. I just don't have a ton of time for it right now. And that's why I need to just kind of take a break a little bit and just, well, not necessarily take a break, but like make more time, I guess. And that's what I've been trying to do. And one thing that I've been taking my time on, or taking time for, is the last couple months. This has been taking up a lot of my time right here. For everybody that's just listening on, audio land, traditional bow. I've dove in headfirst in traditional archery. I started it last year. I bought this bow last winter. So it would have been the winter going. So in 2026, it would have been the winter of 24. I bought it and shot all year with it. Was going to take it hunting last year and then chickened out last minute. And then knew I wanted to build some new arrows for it. I wanted to get more proficient with it. And coming into this winter, I got a hold of some people. One in particular, Andy Kelly. He's been a huge mentor, huge help. And I got some new arrows. Show you these here. These things are sweet. They're the Kool-Aid Rattel. It is, I literally just got these done. And I crested, or I put wraps on them. I fletched them with feathers myself. I bear shaft tuned these. So I with Andy, I was shooting full length shafts. So he said, start out with full length shafts and put the insert in, shoot them and see what happens. Shoot them through paper. And then he told me one thing he likes to do is put your phone on slow mode above you, and you can kind of see where that arrow kicks. And you can too. It's crazy what the phone will pick up. And I corrected from there, and he was helping me how to correct from there. So what I would do is, I would play with a certain weight. I'd start with like maybe 175 grain head, full length shaft, and I would shoot, and the arrow would be either too weak or too stiff. So then I would play with a different weight on the shaft, or a different weight on the front, or I would cut an 1/8 inch off, take the insert out, cut an 1/8 inch off, put the insert back in, And I played with that for weeks, not every day, but as much as I could. I finally got it to where this arrow flies very well. It is so the Rattel is a 5.2 millimeter shaft. It's a 400 spine. What I ended up coming up with is there's a 250 grain head on the front, and it is only a quarter inch of the arrow is cut off. And that's what we're rolling with. And they're flying great. The arrow full weight 605 grains is what it is. And this has been my new favorite thing to do. I've been doing so much of this. I have a little range in my basement where I can get almost 15 yards. So I shoot quite a bit. Now it's getting a little warmer out, but I don't know. I've had a lot of fun with it, and I'm not saying I'm putting down the compound, but I am going to, if I do get out and try to, if I can turkey hunt a little bit this year, it will be with a traditional bow, and I will be toting the traditional bow this fall as well. Not saying it'll be all the time, like I said, but that is a challenge that I'm trying to challenge myself a little bit more with some things, and this thing is taking up a lot of my little bit of free time that I have. But there it is. A lot of people have asked me about the Kool-Aid arrows. Rattel, these ones are probably, I was talking to the guys at Kool-Aid for traditional archery. They really liked recommending these ones. But for my compound, last year I shot the Emphisi and the Ngulubi. I really like the Emphisi. I like the Ngulubi also, but the Emphisi is more of a micro diameter shaft, so I know a lot of people like that. Emphisi is where it's at if you want to check that out, but Rattel right there. So that's been taking up a lot of my time. And quite honestly, I didn't even have all my trail cams retrieved until this last weekend from last season. They were all still out. And like usually I like to get them in and get them cleaned up and get them ready for the next season. But I think it was a Saturday. I had some time. We ended up going to the local varsity softball game. Took our daughter to that and watched that. And then after that, it was a decent day and I wanted to go walk around. And so went and retrieved some cameras and also put some of this out right here. For everybody's wondering, it's the Vitalized Premium Clover Plus. This stuff, so that I have a plot on, I got a pretty big plot, but there's I've been wanting to do some frost seeding, and I just, like I said, haven't had the time to even run over there and just put some seed in the ground. And here it is, May, and finally got it on the, in the ground basically. But I chose the Premium Clover Plus because I did this last year on another farm on a plot, and it went amazing. Like, it grew so well. The deer loved it. I mean, I'm talking about, it was a plot that was like an 1/8 acre, and you'd get 25, 30 deer in it a night. It was wild, and they ate me out of house and home, basically. But this bag will plant 1 acre, and it's got 6 different types of clover and chicory in it. So, and the thing I like about it is it'll work in full sun or partial sun. So the plot that I put it in is full sun. It gets full sun all the time. It's on the edge of a ag field. It's got some platinum ladino clover, dynamite red clover, frosty bursum, I'm pronouncing that wrong, I think, clover, Dixie crimson clover, everlasting white clover, enhanced Persian clover, and some oasis chicory. So I really thoroughly enjoyed it last year, and I think the 1 acre is going to be put in that as well, because I just have clover in the 1 acre, and I think I might go do some more spot seeding with that, because a couple spots need some attention on that. That Clover Plus, though, really like that. So got to finally do that and get out and do a little scouting. It's not total. I mean, the green up is, it's not even hardly. I mean, there's buds on the trees, but that's it. Like, you can still see a lot of stuff. I learned a lot. We've been getting so much rain, and found some big rubs, found some good beds, found one buck bed that I feel like I could quantify as a buck bed. And it just made so much sense. Just kind of learned some stuff there. Picked out some new trees. I actually built a couple scrapes ready. I like to build them this time, April, May time frame, even earlier. But because a lot of times I'll forget, or like this, I don't have time to go back until right before season or something like that. So I just I have all my scrape building stuff with me all the time, and built a scrape. Now it just needs a camera. And I've got a new game plan for that farm and another farm. I'm going to try something new this year. We'll get into that once it gets closer to season, but really digging it. So that's that. One thing I do want to update you guys on too is coming up, actually the month of May, I believe it is, the whole month of May, Jay's Sporting Goods, they have bow markdowns right now. So if you are looking for a new bow, go up to Clare or Gaylord locations, and up to $700 off certain bows, or you will qualify for either a $500 credit towards select accessories or $250 Jay's gift card. So the month of May, go up and check that out. May 1st to May 31st. Other thing is, now that I'm saying May, for Michigan hunters, don't forget to put in for your bear tags or your bear points. And then also, this is the month to apply for Iowa if you're applying for Iowa or Iowa preference points. So get that done. I have not done that yet, and I just reminded myself, so get that done. Yeah. Last thing before we do get into this talk here with Joe Davis. So I've had a couple listeners, actually more than a couple. I think I've got like 20 to 30 questions. So with this Film the Fall, I had a listener reach out to me and said, "Hey, I've got some questions. Can you answer for me?" And I'm like, man, yeah, I definitely answer them, but it's just hard to answer them through DM or something. So I said, send me all your questions. And I reached out to some other people on social that have had questions in the past and said, if you have any questions, I'm going to do a Q&A podcast about Film the Fall, about anything filming, anything, if you want to know some of my stories that I've had in the past, on some of my endeavors that I've may have not told, anything like that, cameras, editing, different styles, techniques, gear, it doesn't matter. DM me or go to Spotify and on this episode, write your question in there. If you don't want it to be on Spotify, that's fine. Just DM me on Instagram or Facebook. And I'm going to record this hopefully here in the next week or so and go over a whole bunch of questions. Like I said, right now I've got 20 or 30, but I have no problem covering them all in one, or I'll just break them up into 2 podcasts. That's no problem at all. So Q&A podcast is coming about Film the Fall. And if you guys have any questions, hit me up with them. So I guess with that being said, there it is, almost 20 minutes on this. But we're going to run some partners real quick, like usual. And then we'll get over to this interview with Joe Davis. I'm here to tell you Jay's Sporting Goods is the ultimate one-stop shop for everything outdoors. I mean, from hunting essentials and fishing gear to small camp comforts that honestly can just make your life easier in the woods and your experience even better. Whether you're gearing up for deer season or heading out into the water to chase fish, now that could be in a boat, on a dock, or it could be hard water like in the winter. Stop by Jay's Sporting Goods in Clare or Gaylord. You'll find everything you need for a successful season, and probably a few extras you didn't know you needed to make camp life a little easier. Jay's Sporting Goods, trust the tradition. Not only does this keep you in the woods longer, which usually yields more success, but the company and the owners and everybody behind it are top-notch individuals. Osseo Gear was created to maximize a bow hunter's efficiency and effectiveness while hunting from a tree. The Osseo Raptor pattern is inspired by one of nature's top tree predators and master of camouflage, the owl. But concealment is just the beginning. Osseo Gear allows you to stay in the stand or saddle longer thanks to exclusive fabrics and highly functional features built for real-world conditions. From bitter cold and high winds to rain, heat, and sun, Osteo Gear keeps you comfortable in any situation. And the best part about it, Osteo Gear has you backed by a lifetime guarantee, no questions asked. So if you rip a pant or a zipper breaks, just call them up and they got you covered. Also look into their new Wrap-X camo, which just came out last year. Learn more at osteogear.com, and right now for the Fall Podcast listeners, use the code FALL20 to save some money on your next purchase. With 2026 here, now it's time to look back at last season and ask yourself one question: how can I make my setup even better? Latitude builds meticulous design mobile hunting gear for both private and public land hunters. Their system is truly turnkey, built to move efficiently, adapt quickly, and meet the demands of hunters chasing every opportunity, whether that's public ground, private land, or anywhere in between. Based right here in Michigan, Latitude holds themselves to a higher standard, not just in the gear they design and build, but in the experience they want every hunter to have in the field. If you're serious about mobile hunting in 2026, visit latitudeoutdoors.com to learn more. And right now for Fall Podcast listeners, you can save 15% by using the code THEFALL at checkout. All right, everybody, we are back for another episode of the Fall Podcast. Today, we are actually coming to you from the Chili Buck Lounge. Did you know you were in the Chili Buck Lounge?
I did not know.
Okay, so I've got Mr. Joe Davis with me here today. Thank you for coming in the flesh. You know, you had to drive, what, hour and a half, 2 hours?
I was in Detroit. I live an hour and a half, and I was in downtown Detroit, so about 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Love it. I appreciate you. I was just going to do it over Zoom, but you're like, hey, do you want me to come up there? I'm like, if you want to do that. I mean, it's hard for me. Like, I love what, like, Kurt and the working class guys do. They get everybody in, and it's great. This is at my house. I really don't want to bring just strangers. Like, I know you. Like, it's not a big deal, but I would love to have everybody here, but I know how busy life can get and how hard it is to get away. You know, and a lot of my friends have young families, and it's really hard to get away for a couple hours to do it. So I appreciate you making the effort to do it. We're going to talk today about, so new series that I've got going on is called Film the Fall. And everybody probably already knows, not by now, but the Fall Podcast was initially supposed to be called Over the Shoulder. And it was going to be about producers in the industry. And now somebody has taken that name, since I didn't take it, and now I've made it called Film the Fall. And Joe, you kind of put down the bow and weapon this year for getting into, like, dedicating your fall to hunt or filming the fall, basically. You're part of the Rome Hunt crew, correct?
Correct.
And I just want to get into that today. And, you know, really break down all that and the ins and outs. And I know you had a really cool, I wouldn't say opportunity. I mean, it was a cool opportunity, but a good time in Kansas with the guys. And get into that a little bit. But first and foremost, I mean, I guess, who the hell are you? Joe Davis. And how'd we get here, I guess?
Yeah. Born and raised in Corona, Michigan, if anybody wanted to know that. You know, coming from a small town, that's kind of like, you know, you just grow up with other people that, you know, when they eventually get to age, they start hunting, and you go, well, you know, I kind of want to do that. So I started hunting as a kid. My dad, you know, got me hunter safety and all that. And I started to be, like, a little bit rebellious as a kid. And then I moved to the Grand Rapids later on and kind of got out of, like, the hunting and all that. I didn't really do it that serious. And my dad was getting up there in age, and the only thing he really liked was NASCAR and hunting. I was like, well, I want to get closer to my dad, and I really don't like NASCAR, so I'm going to get back into hunting. So I started going up north with my dad and hunting and stuff, and that's where I kind of fell in love with it. And then I had a good job, and I was like, I'm going to buy a new bow. And then, like, when I bought a new bow, that's, like, when I really fell in love with, like, the feeling of archery and all that. So moved back to the central side of the state and all that, and got some property, and then just started hitting hunting really. I mean, like, my wife was like, when we got together, you barely hunt it, and now you hunt, like, months at a time. So it's just like, it's a full-blown addiction. So
how is that dynamic now, like, when you were first got with your wife, you didn't really hunt. Now it's like
Oh.
taking over everything. And is she ever like?
She doesn't understand. I can tell you a funny story, but like the one time, like we bought some property and like finally shot a doe in the backyard, and then like I was like, hey, come help me hold the light, and all this, trying to get her involved, but and then she's just like, we get up to the deer, and doe's dead, and she's just like over there, she starts crying. I go, what are you crying?
Oh boy.
Why are you crying? I just don't like you when you shoot these babies. I was like, what are you talking about? It's a mature doe. She's like, well, it doesn't have no antlers. I was like, oh man, I married a city girl really hard. So so I just got involved in hunting and just got really heavily into it, and then eventually I wanted to, I started listening to podcasts and all that. I was like, well, I always love videotaping and stuff like that. So I started my own podcast, did that for a couple years, and then I eventually just got so busy with work and all that, I kind of just put that on pause, and then I eventually got with the bigger community with Adam Miller, Nate, and all them guys, and they kind of invited me onto their project. So I've been taking that on, they call me a creative director, but I'm just, I don't know what that is.
Joe the CD, the creative director.
Yeah, they keep calling me that, but I mean, that's basically where we are here right now. But it is a really surreal moment because you're probably one of the first, you and WCB is the first podcast I ever listened to. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Neat. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for that. I will say, I've got to know you. I mean, we've known each other for a couple years now. I mean, we went back probably 3 or 4 tacks ago, and we were shooting tack together. And and I remember you would just take the camera and we would go shoot, and you'd just come with us and film us or take pictures or whatever.
Yeah, that's I've always been like that since a kid. I had a video camera when I was a kid. Doing following. I don't know if you can swear it.
Oh yeah,
Jackass and all that.
Yep.
So we were always doing stuff. So I always had a video camera, and I just really liked that side of It's sometimes people oh, I don't want to be the guy just carrying around a camera, but I really like it. So that's how I always.
Let me ask you this. So, did you get into filming because you loved hunting, or was it because the reason why I ask is because you got a weird dynamic in a way of I got into filming in my career because I love to hunt. In the filming now, I did a podcast with Nate the other day, and we kind of got pretty deep into I said some things I've never said publicly before on it, and I kind of lost my creative fire for some years because I wasn't hunting. I was just spending falls filming, and I love to film, but I kind of lost sight of what I was wanting to do. So I ask, did you get into filming because you love to hunt, or were you really genuinely just wanted to film, and the hunting really, because you kind of come into hunting later, right? So what was the dynamic there?
It was definitely just because I love it was more the documentary of I'm not a big buck killer or anything like that.
You shot an absolute giant last year.
Well, so, but whoa, you need to be classification on giants. But
wasn't it last year or the year before?
It was last year. No, I'm just saying it was a great buck.
Yeah,
I would take that all day in Michigan. But
or anywhere.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But it was documenting. That's what I loved about it. I don't want to say there's a selfish side of when you're documenting it, but I just feel like you can relive that moment. No, I'm not the guy at the concert. I love living in the moment of stuff. I'm not videotaping concerts, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna go back and relive that moment. But I just feel like there's a certain point when you can document, nature and then the commodity and all that. You can really I don't know. It kind of ruins you. If you're you build houses and all that stuff, when you go to other places, you can pull out, look at that trim, it's all messed up and all that. Well, filming and stuff, when you see other people's film, you can really enjoy it. You can watch somebody film and just enjoy the smaller details of stuff. And I know I'm kind of rambling, but I just think that you can preserve a moment with that lens, and that really brought me
I get that for sure. What is one thing that you remember watching in the past where you're man, I want to do that? Is there a film, or was there something a show
Oh,
you know,
man.
that was like, boy, that really
Donnie Vincent for sure. Like
Rivers Divide.
yeah, like stuff like that,
Yeah.
dude. Like crazy stuff. Like, and there was some like there was some other stuff, like smaller stuff, not even hunting related and stuff, and like I really like that. Like I really like some of them documentary stuff and all that, watching them guys go, but stuff like that just really like captured my eye and all that. Like I don't want to say like the weird. It wasn't like the weird hunt shows that weren't hunting shows. You know what I mean? Actually, like, you know, like watching the guys go through the suck and all that. Like not the cut and dry. Like, oh, we set up and then we shot this guy. I want to see the stuff. I mean, this is like I don't know. There's just so much stuff that just doesn't go on scene. Like I feel like. I don't know. I'm not in the profession. I just feel like the cameraman was forgotten for a long era, dude. And I really, you know, there's like a reason. Like I don't want to be in front of the lens. I get that, but like I think there's a point where you're just like, wow, I want to appreciate that guy's work and stuff.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that's actually something that Nate and I got into. Nate, for some odd reason, I don't know how he pulled it all out of me, but I said some things on that. And I don't know if the podcast is live. It'll probably be live by the time this is live. But if you guys go over to Rome Hunt podcast? There's a couple of them.
Yeah.
Like whatever one Nate's doing.
Yeah, but they're all on the same RS feed.
Yeah. So if you go to Rome, anywhere you get your podcast, you can listen to the one that I did with him. After I left, I'm like, boy, I really like opened up but I'm glad you brought up the like, and I don't want to use the forgotten. That's a good way of putting it, but like it's just different now. The camera guy being forgotten. When I started in 2011 doing it quote unquote professionally for outdoor television, you know, outdoor channels, sportsman channels, stuff like that, like it was almost like taboo to show the camera guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't like you and after like I remember, you know, filming a kill and watching the deer run off and then coming back to the hunter and like thinking to myself, I was so excited. Is it bad if I like hoot and holler or say something? Like that was like kind of taboo. Like it was, and I don't want this to come from a place where I feel like, you know, I want to be on camera. Like I could give a shit less, but I say that to say now the camera guy is just as much as the story as the hunter, you know, and really who brought that to light was Jared Scheffler. He started filming, 2008, 9, and 10, where he'd do the POV on the hunter, on the camera guy as well when they were going on a stalk or whatnot. And I'm like, I really saw it there. And then 2018, 19, when I was with Chris and Casey, the year of 19, like when I shot the Hambino and everything, we made a asserted effort to film the camera guy, or the camera guy, field producer also. So we had that back and forth, and not a lot of people have been doing it. Now it's more of a real thing. Like Grit, we do it. Yeah, we have to do it. I'm editing my Iowa Grit hunt, and like, if we didn't have the back and forth current conversation, then it would have just been a TV hunt. And it kind of shitting on TV a little bit. TV had its time and its place for a lot of years, but it's obsolete now. Yeah. It is. And it's very cookie cutter. It's very mundane. It's very not creative in a lot of ways, in my opinion. Because I think there's a sense now where in the TV world, a lot of people have done something the same way for a lot of years and it worked, and it's just a comfort pocket they just stay in, you know? That's why I've kind of like, I really like the short film side of things, you know, and I really like a mix of dirty shooting to cinematic shooting and VO. I really like a VO and like something that's very heartfelt and something that's emotional, you know, in a way where it can kind of get you on that roller coaster, because anybody that's hunted for any length of time, day to day in the fall is emotional. Like it really is, unless you're just kind of a guy that just hunts because it's October, which there's a lot of guys that way, but man, it's a nonstop emotional roller coaster, and I try to get that out of anything I'm editing or filming. Like I want you that's watching to be like, God dang, I'm like right there with them, you know? It's like going through the struggles and getting up early, and it's just, that's something I think about. And things have changed. There's a long-winded way of me saying things have changed from then to now, and I like the direction it's going, because we're starving for content. Like, I go through YouTube and I'm like, man, I want more stuff to watch. Like, and it's, I want more people out there and document their stories, and it's cool. Like, it keeps like a creative like us, like, kind of on our toes, keeps us accountable, because you see something that like somebody did and you're like, I want to do that and I want to do it better,
Right.
So it keeps raising the bar. But
yeah. And like you said, like, the cameraman being there, and you want to hoot and holler and all that, like, when you're the cameraman, you did everything the exact same that hunter did, besides pull the trigger. That's the only thing you didn't do, is you killed that deer too. Like, you killed that bear, whatever, you're with them, you did that too, because everything that he did, you did exactly the same as him, to that. And that's why I like working with like Adam and all them guys. Like, dude, like, we're a team. Like, we're talking to each other. We're like, hey, this is how we're gonna hunt and all this. Like, this is where we're gonna do. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like so, I don't know, rewarding to just be part of it. It's like sometimes like I don't ever want to do this as like a paid living or nothing. That's not my goal. I never want to do that. I just want to film and all that. So me and like Adam working and all that, it's just such a, like, you're like, oh, you kind of go joking back and forth, but you're just like, man, this is how we're gonna do it, and we're gonna run out there together, and we're hopefully we get a deer or whatever. So
what for you? What is the goal, just in filming hunting for you? It doesn't necessarily have to be like putting content out for Rome, but like in your internal goal, what is it? Is it to move people in a certain way? Is it to just document stories, or is there something like deeper there? Is it like what is that goal for you?
Yeah, I don't know on that one. That's like, it's not for the clicks. I could care less about the clicks. Like I said, like, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be doing anything. But it's just, I like to really just, showcase what we're doing. Like, we're out there, we're doing it. Like, we're falling into the water. We're dropping cameras in water. We're doing all that. Like, we're out there doing it. Like, we're not just sitting up in there and just that I don't know. It's just like, I just wanted to show people, like, we're just regular people. I go to a 9-to-5 job too, and we go out there and we get it. We don't have $1 million sponsors or whatever behind us, but we're just out there, just going out there and just trying to get it done.
Do you ever think about, like, and through 30, 40 years, when we're all old and gray and can't, like, travel to hunt and everything, and you can always go back to YouTube and type in Rome and like watch 30 to 40 years from now, like, dude, look what we did. Like, cause in a sense, for me, even one of the big reasons why I want to start a podcast is, like, early on, I knew that there's going to be a day where I'm going to be pushing up daisies. And, if I'm lucky enough to have grandkids, like, I want those grandkids, when I'm gone, or their grandkids or their kids or whatever, to go back and, like, listen to how I was. Right. And, like, because I even go back to, like, when I was in high school, the only time, like, unless you have, like, tapes of, like, games that you were in or something like that, there's no photos. I don't have any printed out photos of me playing sports, unless it's like your picture of, like, the team photo or whatever. Like, the action photos now, like, look at these people that are getting recruited, or not even getting recruited, but, like, every day, like, I look at my nieces and nephews that are playing, they've got X times the photos because they got parents with phones or cameras or whatever, and I'm like, man, I'd really like to have that, and like, I want to be remembered, when I'm gone. Like, people that are close to me can go back and listen and even watch my content of like, look, this is how Grandpa was, or something like that. So that's why I ask, what's the goal for you? And
I know it's showcasing great work and trying to do the best you can, everything in memories, but I feel like if you can't do it, or if you're not doing it for yourself, then, who are you really doing it for, kind of thing. But that's just me. But I think it's, 15 years from now, you're going to go back, you and Adam, and watch it and think about that time in Kansas that we're going to get into later, when you saw a buck and he saw a buck, and it was a debacle kind of thing, right?
Right. Yeah, and I totally agree. Like you'll eventually be just a campfire story. And how people tell campfire stories, I can tell it one way, and then you can tell another story about, me or whatever. Eventually, if you die or whatever, you're just a campfire story. But when somebody can go back and be like, hey, this was your grandpa, AB, this is him, watching him, and stuff like that. That will probably be. That's like why I started like the podcast stuff. I was like, I really wanted people to go back and stuff, but
listen and hear all the stories and everything.
But yeah, I think that's gonna be pretty crazy, and I don't know. AI will be probably running the world by
Let's
then.
not even start on AI. Jeez, Pete.
Sorry. I'm sorry, sensitive subject.
No, well, and it's like it's starting to become a necessary evil, like social.
100.
You know what I mean?
100.
I'm terrible grammatically, like writing out something or whatever. So I will literally write something, copy and paste it in there, and they will spell check it for me and beautify it, and then
it's
dumb.
Like you said, it's such a necessary evil, and it's kind of creepy because or not creepy, but like it's kind of crazy because I'm not like a super artistic guy, but there's got to be graphic designers and all these other marketing people that are gotta be terrified right now, because like I can go in there and just spit out things, and I'm like, boom, I have this picture of this image, like done. Dunzo, send it. You know what I mean? Like in seconds, it's just like, man, it's
unreal.
And then now I'm seeing a lot of AI, special effects coming into the video side of stuff and all that. It's just like, it's
the one thing though that I don't think AI will ever be able to do is do what we do in the field. Like, like to go have the memories with your buddies and film them or get filmed or whatever. Like I'm filming, or I'm editing the Iowa stuff, and I'm like going through all the funny stuff that like Josh and Nate and Joey and I had those times there, and I'm like, that's something AI will never be able to replicate, But editing, there's going to come a time where you can throw all the clips into a bin and be like, edit the best show here. Then in an hour it pops out and it's like, here's your show. Yeah. That scares the hell out of me.
Yeah. It'll be cinematic and all that. It'll auto adjust everything. I mean, like you said, it like when I started quitting the podcast, there was a certain point where there was software out there that you could just put in the audio and then put in the video, and it would cut everything to you. I'm like, I never used it personally, but I was just like, man, because I've done the long format of editing a podcast, cutting 2 cameras. It just
and that just goes to the podcast side of it too. That software Riverside or whatever a lot of people use. So I did attempt to use it last year. I think it was last year. Bought a subscription. It was really clunky. Didn't work the greatest. Like it needed a lot of bugs, worked out. So I'm like, and then I just couldn't get over how I didn't want AI to like just really like spit it out for me. It's a really cool program. I still don't use it. I use Zoom, and then when I talk to people that are like, how do you edit your podcast and everything? And I'm like, well, I open Premiere and I take the video from Zoom and I sync up the audio from my board on each. And then this book, the key to my podcast is this book. So I have a book from every year. Every guest has a page. Okay. And like teasers. So all like time code when something comes up and there's like, this one was from Levi early on this year, and it was like, I'll star them as I go. One will be like, maybe it was a kill or a miss or whatever, and I'll put like 10 stars by it. And it's like, okay, go back to that one, or 1 star. And it's like, just if you need a reel. But I write the time code, and then when I go into Premiere, I go right to that time code. I cut, put my little thing at the end, and export it. Like that's. But Riverside, you one click. It gives you SEO description. And that's something I don't do that would probably be more efficient and help in time. But like, I'm not ready to give up just yet. I do use a little bit of AI for, like I said, grammatic errors and stuff like that because I can't write very well. But that's about where it stops. I can't fully give in yet.
I mean, this is going to be a certain time where you're just going to be fighting on your daily life. And
I know.
I can see it, dude, because there's people that you can plug it in there and you can write a prompt, and it can write you a whole movie if you want. So it's going to be a time, I don't know, man. It's going to be a love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is.
I mean, I'm just telling you right now, face-off e-bikes changed the way I hunt. Whether it's saving time, cutting scent, or turning long walks into quiet, efficient access, it's just there. It just works. Whether you hunt the hills or flat ground, there are no limits. Check out faceoffebikes.com, and when you're ordering a hunter or switchback model, use code TFP to get a free front bow holder that's worth $100. When it comes to bowstrings, you want a custom set, and that's exactly what America's Best Bowstrings delivers. ABB offers a huge selection of colors, letting you build a string set that's customized exactly the way you want it. I'm a big fan of the Launch series, which is their top-of-the-line option for performance and durability. Visit the website and use ABB String Builder to design your setup and see it come to life in real time. America's Best Bowstrings offers strings for compound bows, recurves, and crossbows. All you got to do is use the code TFP at checkout to save on your next purchase. Guys, are you looking to get an edge this next season? I think one thing that could definitely give you a little added edge is the Moon Guide. The Moon Guide predicts when deer are most likely to move by factoring in lunar positioning, time of year, and historical movement data. The theory is simple. Whitetails tend to be most active when the moon is overhead or underfoot. Overhead is when the moon is directly above your location. Underfoot is when the moon is directly beneath you. These windows create the strongest gravitational pull, which is believed to help get deer up and moving. But the Moon Guide is more than just movement predictions. It's the #1 hunt planning app, giving you wind mapping, red moon predictions, stand-specific intel, a weather channel tab with moving wind currents, a built-in journal, and more, all in your pocket. Check it out on the App Store or head to www.moonguide.com for more info. All right, I got a question for all of you guys. All you guys that hunt private, whether it's permission piece, whether it's a lease, or you own it, are you looking to gain an edge? That's my question to you. If you are, Everland Outdoors is the answer. Everland creates custom maps of your property using high-tech drones that capture a series of images stitched together to produce the highest quality map of your farm. Everland has drone pilots in all major whitetail states, so no matter where you hunt, they can help you map your property. I personally really like the feature where I want to see the map on the wall, and I can actually put my hand up with where, the weather channel tells me the wind's coming from, and I like to see where the wind is going to go through the farm. Now, it's just a good starting point, but it's really cool, and I really like to see a visual aspect of that. So learn more at everlandoutdoors.com and take your hunting strategy to the next level.
Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes here.
Yep.
You chose the lens over the weapon this year. Give everybody a little bit of your history of your hunting. You started kind of late, but it become an addiction, so kind of give that story into like leading up to this year, like putting the bow down and really dedicating towards the camera.
Yeah. I started getting on, some bigger deer, I guess. I would say the last 5 years I've been, hitting it really hard on, and I wanted to say like social media kind of ruined me for a minute because I started following, you and WCB and all the. But I was putting my my hunting. I was comparing people that live in Iowa, Illinois, and all that to Michigan. So that was a nasty side effect of me. So I let some years go, letting deer go. People saying you're crazy letting 130s go, but I'm like, yeah, that's what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
Well, so I eventually just got to a point where I was just like, well, this is just like a personal, I want this kind of deer. I think Michigan is going to be, I want Michigan to be this standard, and I'm going to live to this standard. So I got to that point where I'm like, I'm only going to shoot, nice mature bucks. And so, a couple years of burning tags and letting that happen, I eventually got on some really, really nice bucks and had some ups and downs. Cars hit one, and then neighbor shoot, like a 193-inch buck, like 500 yards from where you hunt. That's some heartbreaks. You go with it, but if you want to stick to your mission and you stay on to it. So last year I did connect with a pretty good one. I personally will say I didn't know that one was going to come out, but I set up on him, and it was just, I won that chessboard, and that's the way I want to hunt. I'm gonna play chess with these deer. I'm not waiting. I'm not doing that waiting game anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain point where you have to if you're going in blind and stuff. And like, I don't do a lot of out of state stuff, but it's just like that deer. I don't know. I just set up and I capitalized on him.
Did you get that one on film?
I did. It was gonna rain that day, so it was all on my phone and on Insta360.
That's right. Yep.
I didn't want to take my big camera out there, so like, I don't know if we go through a equipment checkup, like a $15 to $20 piece of plastic will save you. It was just one of them days. I was like, dude, I know there's gonna be a deer hitting the scrape line. He's coming around the scrape, or they're gonna be coming on the scrape line. It's gonna rain at 5:30. I'm gonna get in there, and that deer came. By the time I got on to that deer, it was raining so hard that I couldn't even find a blood trail if I wanted
really?
to. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I got really lucky that it was just, I zapped him. So
that's your personal best buck, isn't it?
yeah.
So that's a perfect segue of how do you go from having the best year of your life shooting a stud of a deer anywhere, not just Michigan, anywhere, to putting the bow down and like, hey, I'm gonna dedicate to the camera.
Man, I don't know. I mean, there's this, like, I think that following that year, you have a good year, and you kind of you take the reins back a little bit, and you just kind of look at it. And then Adam finally, told me about this project, and him and the other guys are going to start, and they're like, we want to do this hunting, get more stuff on tape. And then I was like, we should all just come together. We're all, Adam, Nate, and all these other guys have, they're successful at their own platforms and all that, but we lack, trying to get so much content and out there. And he's like, what if we all come together and we can just all produce content, and it will be loads off, each other back, but we'll lean on each other, for that help. So we grouped up and all that, and then the talk said like, hey, what are we going to do this year? And then, a couple people said, they got hunts coming up there, and then they're like, well, we're going to go to Kansas. We're probably going to draw Kansas. We all have a point or whatever. And I said, well, if you guys are serious about this, I'm willing to take I'll take my time, and I'll go out there and just videotape you guys. I'll videotape whoever, and then if they get a deer, I'll jump on somebody else. I'll do that. And I work a normal job, so like I only get one, and I have a young family. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, so I only get limited vacation time. So I said I'll do that. And all that. I won't even apply because I don't want to have a tag. Well, they said, well, get a tag and you just videotape. I don't even want that burden in my pocket. I just want to go out there, and I'll keep the camera on me, and then just videotape you guys. And that's what I said. Well, if I do that for Kansas, I might as well just do it the whole year. So I videotaped Adam bear hunting, and then went up there and did some stuff with them guys that they have a deer camp and all that. So that's how I jumped into that. And I said, it wasn't bad, man. I mean, yeah, I missed the fact that, at the end of the season, I did hunt, so it's not like I didn't hunt here.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, you just go, everybody's got nice racks in front of them. You kind of go, nah. But like I said, like, I was with Adam on them spot and stocks, man. Like, I did everything besides shoot that deer. So, like, I don't have a taxidermy or anything in front of me, but I have that story, and no one can take that from me, and that's all I care about. Because one day that taxidermy is going to be somebody's burden to get rid of when I'm gone. So
Yeah. Well, was there any part of last year where you really felt the tug of war of like, I want the bow on my hand right now, or was it basically you were pot committed? It was camera or nothing.
I was just really committed on just the camera. I just think that's what I said I would do, and that's what I'm gonna stick to it. And like Adam's still like mentioned this next season to come up. We should give me some relief and all that. Get somebody else, and I really like that. And it's kind of hard to say no. I think I want, if I don't know if they want to keep me around, but yeah. I just really think it's where I like to be.
I like it. You just don't see that anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't see. It's normally like always somebody else wants to hunt too, which is fine, and that's why I don't want anybody to. Well, one of the reasons why I don't want anybody to film me in Michigan is because, I don't want to give up. I don't want somebody to have to give up a night that might be really good for them to come and film me, and we might only see a couple deer. Right. It's because I lived that life for a very long time of that sacrifice of you just got your priorities got to be where they should be. And like I said, I think when I was going back to that podcast I did with Nate, being young and immature, in my hunting journey of I grew up with my dad having mounts on the wall all the time. I never had one, and I wanted to, experience killing that really good buck. And, I'm filming everybody else do it, but I told Nate, I was like, a lot of times it got to the point where I was like, I might be in, Italy on a pheasant hunt, filming a badass pheasant hunt behind some of the world's best dogs you ever seen, but I just couldn't wait to get home. Because I'm like, what am I doing? I don't want to be here, So I really wish I could go back and kind of relive some of those trips I was on and being more mature in it because, I just think my head wasn't in a lot of them. I loved filming and producing whitetail hunting. That's what I loved. I've been on elk hunts producing those, caribou hunts, sheep hunts, turkey hunts, you name it, moose hunts, a lot of different animals I've filmed die, but it always goes back to whitetail. It is my pocket. It is where I love to be. It's where the story I love to tell. So it's just you don't find guys like yourself that were like, hey, I'm going to dedicate the season. And going into this year, it sounds like you're ready to do it again.
Yeah. I mean, I wish there's so many people I wish I had more time to go, and I just love that the being behind the camera is. I wish there was so much more time I could just give out to people, but it was just I feel like there's some people that are great hunters that you can be like, dude, if I could just follow you around, it would be so. I know you don't want the fame, but I just want to, people could really respect this and all that. So
yeah, is there well, I want to get into camera gear and equipment and everything. Let's get into that maybe now. Yeah. Because you've bought a ton of camera gear. I mean, you've got you've got a mortgage of a house, a couple of house mortgages in your box out there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, my bell pack out.
Yeah.
But I got some. I started with a Rebel T6. I don't even think it was the TI, and I moved to a Sony 7 Mark III. Now I have a Sony 7 Mark IV and then Sony FX6, the cinema camera.
Yeah, which the FX6 and even the 5, those are badass cameras.
Yeah,
you have better cameras than we have at Latitude.
Yeah,
we've got some nice cameras, but that FX6 is
it's almost camera. Too good for me. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm not saying I'm not at that level. You can mess some shit up with that camera if you don't do the right settings. Some of the Sony, the A7s and all that, they kind of dummy them down. You know, some of the like the stuff and all that, the settings and all that. I don't know if we'll get into like ISO and all that stuff, but like that camera, that cinema camera, like you can really just like film something and you just go, wow, that is blowing out real bad from just, you know, your white balance and all that stuff. So
what glass are you running with all of it?
Mostly 24 to 70s, and then if I have to crop down to, you know, ASC mode or whatever, and to get a little bit room, and then 70 by 200. So this year I think I'm gonna get the I think it's a 35 to 135. I think I might be saying that wrong. It's a power zoom lens. I really want to go back to a power zoom lens.
For what reason?
I just think if I can hand the camera to a little bit more people. This year Adam is I'm probably gonna draw Iowa, and I think some people are gonna be using my camera. You know, I can just go here, hit these settings here, and then give them a power zoom. I can it'll be a little bit easier.
Explain what the power zoom does for people, because I don't even know if I'm familiar with the power zoom.
So basically on like the Sony FX.
Is it like a doubler or extender?
No.
Okay.
No. The power zoom is just like it's manually zoom, like a digital zoom almost.
Oh, okay. No, you're right. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. So it's so it basically turns your your millimeters basically for you. I mean, so it can just like. Because, like, you know, if you manually do it, like, when you're doing that, it just cranks it. But most time you shouldn't be changing your, you know.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I've never, like, actually heard it called a power zoom. So that's why, not that that's wrong.
No.
But I know.
Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Maybe.
No, I think you're saying it right.
Because it's, I don't know. It's just, I think it's like whatever.
One thing you're going to find out with me is I'm not the most technical guy. Like, I could have you grab that camera, and I can be like, hey, put your ISO at this, shutter at this, don't go over this, don't go do this. But, like, you know, when it gets to the nitty-gritty of, like, terminology and everything, I just kind of know how it works. Like, I don't really know, you know, every lingo word about it. And I've been doing this for a very long time. I just know what works and what I can do.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, there's people out there that are videotaping on a cell phone that do 10 times better job than me. So it's not always about the equipment. So
what your 70 to 200, is that the 2.8 lens?
No, it's just a 4-point. I hate that.
Dude, it goes expensive to get that.
Yeah, I don't know how deep we'll get into stuff like that, but just to get your aperture or your f-stop down 1.2, is it 1.2? You know, that's one stop of light, and that's actually a lot of light if people didn't know. But yeah, you're talking double the price. I mean, you're $2,800 or something.
Do you ever find an instance where, you know, because mirrorless cameras are better in low light than, you know, a regular DSLR. But do you ever find yourself where you're like, I need that extra stop?
Man, there's some scenarios. I would say like I do have my 24 by 70 is a 2.8, and there's a lot of times I'm like, when I have that 70 by 200, I'm like, man, it's getting gritty. You know what I mean? Noise hitting really hard. For what we're doing, and I'll say this. I got that camera. That's a really expensive camera, but like, if you're gonna spend something really nice, dude, spend the same amount of money or double that on a lens. You know what I mean?
Lens is where the money is made.
Well, yeah, because like if you buy a $5,000 rifle and you put a $20 or $200 Vortex on there, how good is that rifle? Yeah, I get it, dude. Like some of these cameras, you spend $2,000, no problem on a camera, and it's hard to justify another $1,000 lens. It's hard to do, but if you could skimp on I don't, like I said, there's some great cameras at some budget prices and get a really nice lens. You keep the glass forever, dude.
Yep.
You can upgrade your camera later.
Exactly. Get good glass. If you can spend it, get good glass. And kind of for everybody out there, if you're kind of new to what we're talking about when we're talking extra stop of lights and everything, cameras have a focal length on them. So the f-stop on them, they are, the lower the number, the more light it lets into the camera. An f4, is not as good as a f2.8 or if you get a prime lens, you can get them down to 1, 2,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And that's going to let a lot more light in. So then you're not, really trying to, run your ISO up real high to let more artificial light basically in. So what I meant by that extra stop of light, if you get in a low light situation, f4 lens isn't going to be as good as an f2.8 in low light. So to go to that f2.8, it's like $1,000 more to get that. And literally you're getting the same lens, just a better focal length on it, and it's like, or a better f-stop, and that's what you're paying for. And they got you by the short and curlies too, because I want to get a new hunting lens for that, because that's a 5.6 lens, and it's like a kind of like a kit lens. Yeah. But I want, I want the 70-200, and I want the 2.8 lens, and that's damn near $3,000.
Yeah. Hey man, like, I have a great job, but I buy, even my archery stuff, I buy almost all used. Like, I buy almost all my stuff. Like, I go to a lot of camera shops and all that, because in Detroit, I work in Detroit, and I always stop in there. Or there's some great guys, like, you Facebook market shop, dude, you'll find some good guys that resell for a living, camera people. Man, I can't afford to buy new. I'll wait for some rich guy to buy it and then sell it for half the price, a year later. I don't need the latest and greatest. I'm so negative in the hole and money wise, and I don't care. I'm not trying to make money at all. But if I can save $1,000 on that, on a lens or whatever, get a smaller lens or buy it used, and I can buy an action cam and microphone and all this for the same price, then I'll deal with a used piece of equipment.
For sure. No, I agree. There's a lot of good stuff, good used stuff out there.
100.
And that's what I've been looking at, is like looking at a used 7200, and I'm like, but I'm trying to weigh, I don't make any money from that setup. My return on investment is just purely just for my, like, hunting a bit, like, just to go out and self-film. And I'm like, can I justify the footage I'm laying down on a self-film for like a $2,000 to $3,000 lens? And it's really hard for me to justify that, So that's the little sticky hole I'm in. But so we kind of got some of your gear down a little bit, and we'll get more into that. But I want to know, are you all self-taught, or did you go somewhere? And
nope, I didn't go nowhere. So I just kind of trial by fire,
some a lot of YouTube stuff.
YouTube, but it's like really hard because a lot of like the video, they'll give you the basics, but they don't teach you how, like what we do. I don't want to we're on the same level, Aaron. Like, you're way better.
No.
Like, but what when you're out there in the woods, there's no one out there teaching you. Like, I'm out there, you're like, hey, dude, I need more light. I'm just jack my shutter down there. And then you go back and post and you go, what did I do? What I mean?
It's all choppy.
It's all choppy. What did I just because your camera can let you do it, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things in like SAQ mode. I don't know if you've ever been burned by that. So there's like some stuff you kind of just got to go out there and you got to do it. And I think that's the best way you're going to learn, is just going out there and doing it. Maybe do it on yourself so you don't embarrass, yourself in front of some of your friends and stuff. But sometimes you just got to go out there and learn on your own. I seen the Hunt. Was it Hunt to Film? Is that the class? Film.
Is that the Nick Ventura one?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, yep.
I talked to him. He's a great guy and all that. And then like I got some of the prices for the courses, and I was like, I can't. That's more than my camera at the time. I was like, that was more than my camera to learn this class. I'm like I said, I'm just doing this for the thrill of me, and I can't justify that.
I get that. And that's like you said, it's just all get out there and do it. It's what it is. And you need to learn some things. I learned by having the stuff in my hand. I can't watch a YouTube video and just listen to a guy spew and then retain it and remember it.
Yeah.
Like, I got to go out there. I got to screw up once, and then I'm going to figure it out. Like, right now I'm trying to take my photography, like, my studio photography to the next level, using flashes. In the past, I haven't used a ton of flashes. And learning a flash, like just today before we recorded, I I have a little homemade studio built in the other room, and I'm just like playing with playing with a flash, figuring it out. Because working for Latitude and I do all the product photography, I want to take that to the next level. So just learning and having a basics of like the camera is huge. But I will say for anybody out there, and I'll say this till the day I die probably, is if you're just getting into filming, don't feel like you have to spend all this money like Joe has. He's really, they live in a cardboard box now, and I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean,
his kids are eating ramen.
There's so many people out there that are really talented, people, and like I said, they have $500 Sony, ZVs or whatever, the ZV-1s and stuff. It's like, if you could learn, on the basic camera and all that, like, you don't need crazy expensive stuff.
No. You'll want it eventually. Because you're going to put it in a post and you're going to be like, man, this does not look how I want it to look.
Right.
But what I was saying is, like, you need to learn how to tell that story.
Yeah.
And really lay that down and get the basics there. So, and it's just like anything else. Like, if you're trying something for the first time, you don't want to blow your wad on it to maybe not even know that you like to do it. But Joe did.
Yeah. I'm a little bit different, but
I'm just giving you shit.
And there's dude, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm in the industry. I hate to say it.
You are. You're heavily ingested.
Well, I know a lot of people that's in the industry. So this is the best way I learned how to do it is when I see D-Rock, Aaron, Bobby Kennedy. I love that guy. That's such a great guy. You should definitely check out his work.
Love Bobby.
I love Bobby. But you meet these people, you see them. This is the time you just slide in. Hey, kind of like earlier, I was like, hey, when you're doing this stuff, how do you do it?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Hey, man, when you're doing this, how do you do this? Or when they post stuff, like Bobby does a lot of photo shoots and stuff, and he'll be posting it. I'll see a new little microphone or something, and like there. Hey, how do you like that microphone? Do you want it? Do you, Bobby does this for a living, so if Bobby's using this, I'm probably gonna, trust Bobby over some stuff. So like, that's your time to just keep in there. And there's some other people you just kind of go, hey, how do you do this? And then you go, okay. Then it's not so random when you just go to, one of these guys and you just go, hey, how do you do all this? And they're like, I can just tell you all.
Exactly, because people they still don't want to give up the sauce.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is good. Keep someone.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But like, definitely ask. I think you asked me not too long ago to like kind of some pointers or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, anytime. Let's do it. But I teach the best. Like this year, Nate and Josh came and filmed me, and even Joey. But Nate and Josh, they were really newbie. Like they haven't really ran a lot of cameras and haven't really done much filming on hunts. That was when I could teach the best while we're doing it. You know what I mean? And this is a good chance here to get this shot and shoot tight mediums and wides and think of it this way and stay a step ahead here. But then later when we encounter that deer, you got to go back to like 3 days before when we encountered him again, and we got to figure out how to like marry those and like the storyline. So it's always constantly thinking and moving and figuring stuff out. But if you can tell a compelling story, the gear will come.
Right.
The gear and the stuff will come. I'm super jealous though of you having an FX6 and all that stuff. Maybe I should.
Whenever you want me to come hunt with you, I'll.
Anytime you want. Like literally, if I knew a guy like you that just was like, I'll give up my phone. Like, hey, anytime you want to film me.
I don't know. I don't want to embarrass myself. No. Yeah, I mean, dude, there's so much gear out there. Like, it's gross. On like some of the times you can just like shop and stuff, and like there's just so much stuff you probably don't need, and there's stuff that you probably do need. But it's probably pretty overwhelming to some people that are just getting into it or just trying to look to upgrade. I mean, it can get crazy expensive.
Yeah.
So like, but like you said, like if you stick to the basics and learn the basics, like you can really
for sure. What do you do for audio? What's your wireless mic setup or your shotgun mics?
So I'm a real big Sennheiser guy. I have two Sennheiser microphones, the MK200 and then the 400. Them are my shotgun mics. I have Rode the wireless 2 right now. I actually just switched. I just bought the. I'm gonna switch to all DJI. All my action cams, all my 360 cams, all my cameras are gonna be on DJI. I always say DJI. I think whatever.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna use them. I think that's the best brand for everything action cam and 360 now. In my opinion, if you can just, everything be brand specific on them, and the mics pair up perfectly on them. I know people are doing full podcasts with them, so I think that's gonna be my way to go this year. So,
did you have any issues with the Rode 2s?
I did, dude. Like one
The
time,
reason why I ask is I'm going through it right now.
cause they would like on pair from each other in like the middle of like a hunt. Like I would turn them on, and I would have to like resync them, and like so I would either have to leave the guy that I'm filming on 24/7, and then it'd be dead by the end of the day, or he's gonna lose it while we're going through all the swamp or whatever. Or I would have to constantly just make sure they're paired up. That's what I had issue with. And the battery life wasn't so good on them. So
Well, that's I've had mine. I think this last fall would have been the second or third fall with them, and editing the show, I forgot that Nate and I were having some serious issues with the mics, and it eventually got to the point where mine would not keep a charge. I'd charge it all night, get up the next morning, wear it in, and he'd have a mic because I want to mic him and mic me so we can have that talk back and forth and have great audio. But then not even halfway through the sit, I'd be like, Nate, I need your mic. And he'd give me his mic, so at least I was mic'd,
right.
And then, so now I'm like, I get home and I just updated the mics, and I really haven't tested them from there because I'm like, maybe it's an update issue. But I'm kind of to the point now where I'm like, I think I'm just going to cut my losses, buy the DJIs, the new ones, but I don't know if I want the little mini guys, the DJI minis.
The Mic 3s are that tiny too now.
I know, and
you're too scared you're gonna lose them.
Well, I don't know. They're not very big, and I haven't. Do you have them yet?
Yeah, but I didn't bring them today. I should have brought them.
The only thing I want you to bring, you didn't bring them.
I know. I didn't open them yet because I want to do a box on review. I want to review them and stuff. But. Yeah, I think Rode was king for so long with microphone. It's just stuck on its name. It's kind of like GoPro, dude. Anybody that's buying a new
You're
GoPro,
exactly right.
You're a boomer, dude. Sorry. I get it, dude. I have had lots of GoPros. They were great. They were king for a long time, and I think their name is only on it because people just go, "Oh, that's a GoPro. They got to be good." Oh, well, that's Rode. That's what I always seen on people's boom mics forever, dude. They didn't change or something. I've had so many auxiliary cord, like the backs of them just rub out on the actual microphone. It's just I don't know.
I think I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and do it, but I'm kind of waiting until the fall. But then I'm like, man, I got a lot of filming coming up that I need to do, product reviews and stuff like that I could be using those mics for, and I just need to bite the bullet and get it because, in my opinion, your video could look amazing. Best ever, but if you do not have good audio, you are toast.
Yeah, 100%.
It knocks it down by half, like in my opinion. And I think, like Jared doing Whitetail Adrenaline, for the longest time, his production value was just okay. It was good, but he always had great audio. Yeah. He always, if it was the camera guy or him, they always had lav mics on, and you could hear them really well. And now the production quality is really good, and the audio is just as good, and it's a banger. Like audio just brings you in and immerses you in a feeling that a lot of times you don't need video for audio to be impactful. A lot of times, I mean, there was an instance. Like Nate and I, we had the mics running because like the DJIs, even the Rodes do it too. But you can hit record in the internal memory on them without even the camera rolling. We had an instance where a doe ran out. There was no video to it, but you could hear our mics and you could hear it right here. Like you can play with that as long as you got the audio and you get that tense moment. You can put any little shot to it to make it like tense.
B-roll, baby.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or you just have B-roll, cut the audio of a B-roll of you trying to pan on something, and then you have that audio. I mean, it's and I just like because the new DJI the new mics for DJI. Like you can set it up and hit the microphone, and it'll turn your camera on for you.
Okay, sell me on them. Give me more tips. What else is there?
I mean, they have all. I think they have built-in compression and all
Really?
that. I mean, they're really slim, and I think the battery life on them is. Like I said, I'm switching. I had an Insta360. I still do, but I'm gonna get the DJI 360, and there's gonna be a new Mark II this year. It's gonna be coming out in the summer, and then I'm gonna do the Osmo Action. I'm gonna get that. already have the Osmo Pocket, and I use that for my webcams and all that. So just linking them up so all that mics can just go instantly. I don't have to worry about the transmitter or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like that. So I agree with the GoPro. I have a GoPro 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for it to die. Once it does, it's gone. Like
Yeah.
It's already started screwing up on me. I bought the Insta360 X5 this year, and I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want everybody to have them. But they are a game changer.
Yeah,
they are
nice.
so good. You have to have one if you want to film anything self-film wise or with someone. I can't tell you how many times I would just run the 360 on a selfie stick between me and Nate or Josh, and it's filming both of us. And with the good audio, you can bounce back and forth to having a conversation, and it's so nice.
Yeah,
so nice.
Yeah, it's such a fail-safe. Like if you're gonna run two cameras, I mean I would run, if you gave me the choice of that and a really expensive camera or the 360 and a mediocre camera, I would just get that two pair. I think you almost at a certain point, everybody has a cell phone, so you can right there's your B camera. But at this point, I think you should always have two cameras rolling in the tree.
Always, yep.
Even cell filming. So
yep.
But there's a lot of apps now. I think you can do it on actually the new iPhones that you can do your selfie.
Yep,
and,
I heard that.
So
You want to minimize guesswork, right? So leave the guesswork behind with Garmin Zero bow sights. Set up the perfect shot and be ready for anything. Garmin is known for engineering purpose-built products for the field, and the Zero lineup is no exception. With instant ranging, there's no need to guess the distance to your target when it matters most. From the Zero A1 to the A1i and the A1i Pro with micro adjust, Garmin has taken the bow sight game literally to an entirely new level. Slow down the moment of truth and step in with confidence when confidence counts the most. Learn more at Garmin.com. Michigan-based, established in 2010, Prime Archery is an American-made brand that's earned its place at the top. Based in small-town Michigan, Prime prides itself on quality, precision, and perfection with no shortcuts. The all-new Prime Form and Prime Divide series bow is carbon without compromise. A true first of its kind, it features the AST, Advanced Structures Technology, delivering a lighter build while increasing stiffness and precision. Prime didn't just cut the weight, they raised the bar. The new American-made carbon rods increase stiffness by 47.5% while reducing overall weight by half a pound. The Form and Divide series still features Prime's proven core cam system and center grip riser, just like its counterpart, the RVX Plus, giving you an unmatched balance, consistency, and accuracy. In my opinion, Prime is up there competing with the big dogs in the bow world. To learn more, visit g5prime.com or stop by your local Prime dealer. Vitalized Seed Company is known for their 1-2 system. The Nitro Boost in the spring and summer to build your soil, followed by the Carbon Load in the fall to pull deer in close when it matters most. I actually shot my deer on the 13th this year, the deer I called Hawk, on this Carbon Load. Vitalized secret sauce is saving you time and money while improving your soil and helping you be more successful come fall. Vitalize offers several proven seed blends, including Clover Chicory Plus Oats, the Premium Clover Plus featuring 5 types of clover and chicory, the Annual Clover Mix, Forage Brassica Mix, a 5-seed blend designed for extreme tonnage, and every bag plants 1 acre or more. Learn more by following Vitalize Seed Company on social media or visiting vitalizeseed.com.
So let's get into, we did equipment a little bit. Let's get into infield filming. I guess walk us through like your typical camera setup in a tree. Like when you're gonna go in a tree, what's your camera setup? What do you bring in? What's it look like?
So am I recording somebody else or me?
You're recording someone else.
So I don't actually use a tree arm. So I use just a sling or whatever you want to call it, just kind of for a little bit of relief. But yeah, I don't typically bring a tree arm because they're just gonna be too constricting and all that. Definitely, I have on my gear strap. I have the 360 going on there, and then I usually have the action camera on top of my camera, kind of like D-Rock does it. Yeah, I think I actually stole that from D-Rock or you guys or whatever. I seen you guys doing that. So that's usually how I'm running. Boom mics. I try to do wireless mics if we're far away from each other. This year I learned that the hard way. I always bring them with me, but me and Adam set up on a different tree that doesn't do good. And like you said, with Rode, I was having some problems with them on syncing with each other, so might as well just throw them in the water. But
Yep.
So that's basically my setup. Is
What's the main camera? Did you say what the?
Oh, sorry, my FX. So I usually bring this year I brought up my FX6 was my main camera.
Lens, you're using the 70 to 200.
70 to 200 on that one. But if it was like anything, I was still really nervous of that. If there was anything with water, I was just bringing my Sony A7 Mark IV.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I don't really want to drop that in the water
Yeah.
right now. Like, I have insurance on it, but I don't like. So like, I was really like scared. Like, if they were like, "Hey, it might rain," I'm like, I'm gonna bring the other camera. But so
I got you. What do you remember? What SD cards and everything you're running?
So I'm mostly running Express A cards on there. If it's gonna be an SD card, it's gotta be V60 at least. I don't know if you're running anything with 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second or anything, you pretty want a 60V SD card. I don't know. It just gets really choppy if you try to slow it down and all that. But I mean, for most normal people, you'll probably never even notice that. But like, that's what I stick to. At least V30 if anybody's looking at cameras and all that.
At minimum, yeah.
Yeah, V30. But like that's but I usually run Sony Express A or whatever brand Express A. Now I can CF Express cards.
CF Express. And
Sorry.
they're expensive as hell.
Yes.
They are, but they are built well too.
So, and I'll say this, like, I don't know, this is gear stuff, but you bring a laptop with you or everything because you're gonna be dumping it, because like a 250 gigabyte CF Express card is $200-$300. 250 gigabytes is really not that much filming if you think it's not, so you're going to be dumping it a lot. So definitely have something to dump on there, because I can't afford 4 or 5 CF Express cards for like a week-long trip, dude. I think I had like 2 terabytes worth of the stuff.
Well, and I don't know how you do your dumping, but I dump every single night of the trip.
Yeah.
Regardless if I learned that early on in my career, regardless if I have space or not, I'm still dumping. Because when I start the next day, I don't want okay, let's say I film today all day and I don't dump, and then I go film all day tomorrow, and then let's say I dump, that night or the next day, then I got to go through and select the day by day, because the more organized you can be in the field, in the moment of truth, the better when you get back to edit it. So I want to show up when I'm come back in the edit bay, and I want there to be, okay, here was Iowa. This is October 1st. Here is, 361, GoPro, main camera, Cam B. Right. And I want to go on each one of those. And instead of seeing, one folder that's got, 100 clips in it from every camera, I want to go in each folder and see like 6 clips, and then I can sync them up easier.
Right.
So dump every day. If I have any suggestions to anybody out there, whether you're doing this for a job or anything, dump every day, because you're going to get confused.
Right. Yeah, because
if you don't.
When you're editing and stuff, it's not a week later.
No.
Like, there's stuff like I haven't touched since September, and that's kind of on me, but it's like I'm not gonna remember what day it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's just to be like, ooh, and like you said, like organization is probably one of the things I struggle the most with. So don't let me sit over here and think like I'm high king. I'm struggling with that too. But like doing that for workflow is like you said. This is my Instacam. Yep. This is my action cam. This is my main camera. This is my B camera. Just like there, so you just go, okay. I think it was on day 2 for this part, and so like you said, half the time I feel like when I'm editing, I'm just looking for the damn video I want. So,
I know, and that's what I've got to the point too now where it's like, man, if it's not in day 2, we must have A, not shot it, or B, I thought we shot it and we didn't shoot it, or vice versa, or whatever, or we forgot something. So dump every day. Keep it organized as you can when you're in the field. It sucks, trust me. It sucks when you get back from hunting and you're like, the last thing I want to do is dump it. Grab a beer, crack open a beer, maybe throw a podcast on or do whatever, and just plan on sitting there for a half hour or so and just organizing everything. Because when you get done and you go get another beer and you sit down to maybe do some more filming or, you know, converse with someone, you're going to feel way better when you get up the next morning and your cards are clear and you're ready to go to tackle that day, you know.
100%. Yeah, it comes, there's a certain task when you come a cameraman, and you just like, you almost have to get up earlier, because if you want to start, you want to get people, you can't be the last guy and be the cameraman out of the trailer or the cabin or whatever, because you're supposed to be getting them getting into the vehicle or them getting ready. So you have to, there's a certain point where you have to be on top of stuff. So and like when you're dumping on something, I would over SDD over HD for
solid states.
Solid states over a little bit more money. I know everybody's gonna be like, dude, these guys just have unlimited money, right?
Well, I can tell you this right now. I've never owned or ever used a solid state.
You have
still to this day.
I see you have Lacey's, right?
Yep, I have all rugged Lacey's, and it's probably not to the best. Like, I probably should have solid states, and they are much faster. But I've got a pile of rugged Lacey's that they've just been so tried and true for me.
They're bulletproof.
They are bulletproof, and they're fast enough for me. Yeah. But I will say, if you can spend them, the thing is, the reason why I won't buy them is I'm cheap, one. But like a 1 terabyte solid state, you can get a rugged Lacey 5 terabyte for the same price, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully everybody, they can pick and choose, like, hey, what do you want to spend? Like, hey, he said this was important, and Aaron's going, no, Joe's an idiot. And I go, that's pretty true. So, but no, I'm just saying out loud, like, the solid states are going to be,
they're the best.
They're better bets, whatever. Yeah. So, but the Lacey's will work. At least get one that, like, the Lacey's that are a little bit, like, some of the other ones, I was like, dude, if you drop that thing, that you're all, that's the problem. Like, the HDs, like, if you drop it or it gets too shaken around, it get corrupted really quick.
And those rugged Lacey's are the only ones I really take on the road, because you could drop them, and I haven't had any issues yet. So
how many times have you dropped it and you just kind of
not once?
Oh, you haven't dropped
Never
it.
Dropped it. I am so okay. So that's gonna debunk, like, hey, if you drop it, it's gonna be okay. I've probably dropped them once or twice, but I've yet, knock on wood, in all the years of doing any production, I've never had a hard drive fail on me.
Wow.
Not one time. They're good to edit on. And I don't know. I'm just so particular when it comes to that stuff. Like, if I'm filming, I'm cleaning my camera almost every night. Like, I'll take a duster and I'll dust it out. Like, when I get back, like I said, I'll grab a beer. I'm dumping footage, and I've got, like, an air duster or whatever. As it's dumping, I'll, like, clean the camera, clean the lenses. My whole philosophy when I was, like, filming every day was, when I get up in the morning, I like to sleep. So, like, I need to be up first, but for me to get an extra 15 minutes, I always go under the camp of, like, if I sleep through my alarm and I can just grab my bag and go, I've got everything. Yeah. That was my whole thing. So when I go to bed at night, it might be midnight, but all my batteries are charged. They're in my pouches, so when I put my stuff on in the morning, I know exactly where those batteries are. My lenses are where they need to be. My lens is ready for when I need to start filming. My white balance is ready when I need to start filming inside. All that stuff is situated so I can just pick it up and go right then. I don't want to be doing anything in the morning because I know my morning routine. I know that I got to get up. I know that there's going to have to be a bowel movement at some point after a cup of coffee. And I know that we're going to be needing to get out the door. But there's a lot of things I need to do filming-wise, and I want to be able to grab and go. And I don't know how many times that I've, early on in my career, I picked up a camera and got into the tree, and there's, like, shit all over the lens. And I'm like, that is easily preventable.
Right.
Like, I can prevent that. So I was just always OCD to the, to the hill of, like, I didn't want my hunter to ever have to wait on me. I wanted to wait on my hunter.
Right.
That all the time. So
that's a huge, like I don't do it for a living or nothing, but I can imagine, you know what I mean, somebody paying you and they have to, you have to, hey, wait a minute, or
yeah.
It's like, oh man.
Well, and it always helps too, because like you don't want them to have to wait on you for anything, but there's going to become times where you're like, hey, will you back up and do that walk again? Then there'll be less stopped to be like, no, we just literally waited for you for 15 minutes. Like, we don't have time. We got to go, you know? So if you want to just plan, you always got to stay ahead.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And like you just said, like, dude, there's a certain point, like Adam's my really good friend. There's a certain point when you become a cameraman, like you kind of have to be not a dick, but do have to take charge and you got to go, hey, we want to get this shot. Like if you want to be the guy, you want to make good stuff, you got to be like, you got to do this over again, or you have to let me go over here and do this video and you walk. It's going to be fucking a little scripted. I get it. It's going to be a little scripted. It's not what we like, but I think it'll be good for the cause.
Yep.
And don't be shy, even though, because like Adam's my good friend, or he's a client or whatever, you got to be a point where you be like, we're not in a hurry, or we're just doing something. I think this would be a great shot. So
something I told Nate and Josh before, we started filming, I said, I just want to preface this that you might think I'm a dick sometimes because I might tell you to get a certain shot or film this, or we might get into the heat of the moment where a deer's coming in and it's like, you need to get that. Like, I don't want that to feel like I'm coming from a certain place, but like that is, they are very new to this. That is not their job. One works for Gordon Foods and one is a builder. It's like, so I know what we need to get. It's my job in that scenario to make sure the story is still on pace for what it needs to be. I just need a guy there to capture it. And if I need you to get a shot, I need you to get the shot. And I might tell you how to frame it or whatever, and then we're going to do this. But like that stuff happens. There's a point in there where Nate and we had complete chaos going on in the tree, and him and I are going at each other basically of like, where I can't see him. Where's he at? Look over here, dude. It's right there. Right. It's like that is. But then when the scenario's over, it's like nobody had any hard feelings.
No,
because you're trying to find a deer that's in the thicket on a doe, and we need footage of Randy, the deer that we're after. So get as much as you can, and.
Yeah.
He didn't take any hard feelings, and I didn't, and I apologized after. I'm like, sorry, dude. And I'm like, he's like, no, dude. He's like, it's all good. You know how Nate is. It's like he's so easy going. So, but you do have to take control.
Yeah,
You're the guy
100%. 100. There's a hard point from is you guys are friends, and I would say probably 50 or more percent of the people probably listening are going to be filming their friends or family or whatever. There's going to be a certain point where if you want to take your stuff to the next level, it's not going to be that over the shoulder look anymore, or it's not going to be okay, cool, you got the shot, like that's the most important. You got the kill on camera. That's awesome. Now put something together with it. Like don't like. Oh, him walking, like, I'm probably in Kansas. I got Adam's so fast walking that I probably only got shots about him walking away from me. And I'm going to be like, now I'm looking back, and I'm going to go, man, I really should have just told him to stop. And, like, him walking through the field, like, basically, like, Gladiator was walking, but it's that point where you got to take charge.
Well, and there's a lot of times, too, like, producing in the field like that, depending on your scenario, but you may have some downtime mid-morning or midday where it's like, you go back, get some lunch or whatever, and you might be like, hey, can we go out and just like get some walking shots to plug in anywhere? Nobody is the wiser. That's how you produce things. Yeah. Like not everything happens, real time. So if you can go to a piece of public where maybe you're not hunting or maybe it's just a field and just take 10 minutes and say, Adam, get your bow on, do this, or whoever, get some cool walking shots. You can plug those in anywhere, or drone shots. That's the thing with drones is drones, you're normally not getting that in real time. With Nate, or not, I don't know if it was Nate. I think it might have been Josh. Josh is driving my truck and I'm flying the drone. But when you see it in the show, it's Aaron driving the truck, and so those are some of the secrets that you have to make a show. You have to make a storyline. Yeah. It'd be no different if I had you there. That's a pilot or whatever. I would be the one driving it, but Josh doesn't know how to fly a drone.
Yeah,
so
it's there's a certain start. Yes, there's scripted, but it's not hey, but there's probably gonna be points where hey man, I want you pulling your bow back on the good camera, not the action camera. I want you. You might be able to tell with the difference in light, time of the day of the shot, but you're gonna be like, hey, I just want to pull your bow back. Pull your bow back. I want you to see you pull your bow back. And if they're like, no, I'm not gonna do that, then you go, well, I guess we're not gonna make a cool show then.
Here's a story for you. A couple years ago, I was self-filming, and ever since I was little, whenever I get in the tree when I'm hunting, I would always pull my bow back, look at all my lanes, where can I get a shot off, what's my bow gonna hit, any limb or whatever, and just kind of do that. And I still to this day, every time I get in, I pull it back once. Well, a couple years ago, I have a dead roll angle that's on me that it's a POV basically. It's usually the DSLR that's not my main angle, and I started just hitting record on it when I get into the tree. So then I always think I could do a time lapse of me getting ready. Sometimes I forget about that it's on, and I'll pull back and I'm doing that. Well, one year I shot a deer self-filming and got all excited. Didn't do any cutaways. Didn't have enough time to get my secondary angle on in the moment of truth. So all I have is a kill shot. And I get back to the edit bay, and it's green up now. It's the next year. Yeah. And I'm like, shit, I don't have anything. And I'm like, I wonder if I have anything from that tree, time of day, where there might be a pullback. And I went back and I found me pulling back at the beginning of the sit, and it was on camera. And I'm like, it worked perfect. Nobody was the wiser of it, But it's those moments that bring you in as a hunter or as a viewer as well that you need. You don't want to watch a deer walking in for 15 minutes. Right. I've never, in all the shows that I've edited or anything, you're always on a time restraint. And if the deer took 15 minutes to get from A to kill shot, I've never used 15 minutes. It's getting cut down by half or 3/4. You're only just seeing the cool parts of him. Nobody wants to sit there and watch it for 15 minutes back and forth from the hunter to the deer to this grazing in a food plot
3 songs later.
Exactly. So
yeah, and there's a lot of times I would be like, dude, I filmed 2 hours worth of stuff, and I got 3 minutes I can use. 3 minutes of usable footage that will tell a story or do anything. There's a certain point where you're just that's why you just film everything almost to a certain extent. You're just I don't know what I'm going to use. I have a direction I want to take this, but I don't know if this is going to work. So so let's just film everything.
Yeah. So. What was the hardest part about filming a hunter in real time?
Communication was probably the hardest thing. Dude, it was just my first basically professional sit with somebody, if you want to say that. Me, I'm in a tree and Adam's at a tree, and we're just trying to, we have no hand signals, we're trying to hunt this bear, and we get busted the first day, and then the second day we don't learn from our mistakes. We go back to the same sit, and just like that. And it's just communication, dude. I think that's the hardest thing. It's just to just know what we're gonna do, and then there's a certain point where you, as a camera guy, you're like, hey, this is your mic. This is, make sure it's on. Make sure this is all and stuff. Like, you gotta tell them. You know, they don't know. They don't know. It's your equipment. You gotta tell them. You gotta, you know, refresh them and stuff. So, and then there's like certain times when you're looking at a different deer that you thought he was at a shoe, and he's at a totally different deer about 5 feet from you, but. And don't hit record, but that's, you know, that's difficult things.
that's old war stories. Those are things of the past.
Yeah. So, you know, but
what I guess I love that communication is key.
Yeah.
It's in anything, whether it's a marriage or, you know, a job, communicating or whatever. It's,
yeah,
you gotta have it.
You have to have at least some kind of mission or something. Or I know it sounds really dumb, but I mean that was probably the hardest thing that I struggled with, you know, conveying with other people.
Yeah.
So.
Talking about that Kansas hunt with you and Adam.
No.
When chaos is happening in a moment of truth, do you have a checklist you go through?
I wish I had a shot process. There's a certain point, you know, when you're pulling the bow back, you get so worried about, hey, you know, my yardage and all this is going on. You know, I'm checking to make sure I'm not hitting nothing. You need to come up with a checklist, and record is probably your number one on that hit. Just hit record. Don't even look at it after you're done. Just hit record. So I would say that would have to be, I wish I had this year going into it, I think I have a mental checklist that I'm going on during chaos and all that. You know, and there's a certain point when if somebody tells you that we're just going for a walk, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. Grab all your stuff. Make sure you're prepared. Not that he knows what's going on. Just make sure you're prepared. I don't care if he doesn't have his stuff. Like, don't be the guy that don't have your stuff. So
it seems like there's a little animosity.
Yeah, there's a little animosity.
What happened? Break down the story.
That's Adam's story of the chaos, if you want to hear that.
Yeah, I do.
So we get to Kansas. We sit first day, and nothing. We kind of set up there. You know, we literally didn't go to camp. We just stopped somewhere, pulled off. Me and Adam, we met up, and we went a tree, whatever, go back to camp, and then we're gonna go, hey, we're gonna drive some fields, scout. We see a buck and a doe out in the field, and then we see this calf chasing this buck around, and we're like, oh, wow, that's funny. And then we're like, all right, we're gonna go check some other fields. Then we go, hey, where we seen that buck? Let's go back there and see if we can see anything. Well, there's a doe right on the road, and we bump her up, and she runs back, and he's like, Adam's like, that's where I want to go check. Let's just go walk back there. And I was like, all right, you know, first day.
Just go for a walk.
Let's just go for a walk. Let's go for a walk.
Did he tell you to not bring anything?
It is not bring everything. He's like, don't worry about backpack. Don't worry about nothing. Like, we're just going for a walk. I just want to go check back there. I was like, all right, dog, let's go, man. I'll just grab my camera on all that. So I grabbed my camera, just my camera. No wireless mics, no action cam, no nothing. So I just we're just going for a walk, and then Adam, we see a great sign and all that, and then Adam goes, oh, get down. And there's like a little spike or something, a 4-point or something like that. So he's like, he kind of moseys off, and then Adam walks forward. He's like, I want to go back in there. This 4-point. Finally bust out of there and runs back there, and we start walking to this meadow opening and all this, and Adam's like, oh man, there's another buck back there. And by the time I get up there, I luckily I had binos with me. I don't know why I had binos with me, but by the time I pull my binos up, I'm like, oh, there's that other buck. This like 140, 150 inch buck just bumps that buck. I'm like, oh, and we just instantly drop to the ground. We're like, oh my God. And he's like, what do we do? So we're going to run around and all this. We're going through this drainage. I don't have the right shoes or nothing on. So we're just going through this, and we basically get up to this point. We're like, hey, we're thinking they're going to work around here. So they start to come up in here, start to come around to us, and we're like, oh man, like they're coming to us. This would be awesome. Then all of a sudden we got to a point where like they're coming on top of us, and so I see this deer that I thought we're understanding. We see this deer. It's kind of doing what Adam was saying. That it's bumping that doe. It keeps snort wheezing going on. I mean, we can hear this.
And he's coming right at you.
Coming right at, and there's like 2 or 3 other deer with them, and there's a doe, I guess, here. I don't see the doe, but they're coming towards us. I mean, they're coming on top of us, and we're like, so there's a certain point where I'm like, oh man, we're not in the right position. We're on the position, you know, and so I'm like looking at this deer, and there's a certain point where Adam goes, I think I could shoot through this. We're like in this, like, I don't know, like brush kind of stuff with like trees and like there's a little island, and he's like, I think I can shoot this. I'm like, Adam, I can't even get my camera view through this. There's no way. Well, he wasn't. I'm looking at this one buck. There's a buck like 10 feet away from me, and I guess in the opening or something, he could probably get a shot. But I'm not looking at him. I'm just looking at that deer. I'm just trying to get this on
So
camera.
there's 2 bucks then.
There's 2 bucks.
And you didn't know the buck he was talking about.
Nope, I didn't see. I seen the bigger buck when he tried to chase the other one, and when it was a ways. But when that other one came up, it wasn't the bigger buck. If you know Adam Miller, he's just never going to take an opportunity. Doesn't matter the size and antlers, you know. I was like, this is an Adam Miller deer all over it. Like, so we're shooting this deer right here, and then all of a sudden there's a certain point where he starts to turn. I see this buck, and it's going right towards a cedar tree. I'm like, he starts to turn. It's like, okay, that deer's gonna come out here. Adam's turning right towards me. I was like, there's gonna be an arrow right in my face. Joe, you should probably lay down. I was like, because I'm a hunter first. I'm going to let him shoot over me. I don't care. Like, Adam, shoot. And that deer starts raking the cedar tree. I mean.
How far is he?
Oh, probably 9 feet, 10 feet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, through this brush, you can see him just, I mean, he's hammering this tree. And there's another buck trying to do this, and that big buck is snort wheezing at that little buck. And all you can hear is snort wheeze. It's like right there. So at some point, I'm laying like this, and I'm trying to keep the camera still, and I must double tap record or something. I don't know. Yeah, that's a mistake.
That's on your resume now.
Yeah, I know. Adam double tapped on his Insta360 cam too.
Oh, geez, you guys are just batting 1,000.
Yeah, I know. It was the worst, the craziest thing in my life. I mean, this is day 1 basically of Kansas, and we got this going around, and then he's like, I'm gonna shoot it, and I'm like, I don't know how you're going to shoot it. And then all of a sudden, this deer just blows out of there. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, I wasn't going to shoot through the brush like that because it came right behind me. He said at one moment that I probably could have reached out my hands and grabbed it. But I was laying on the ground looking through my view of my camera at that other deer. So I never even looked and see that deer. So I never seen that deer within 20 yards of me at least. I didn't even think I seen it in 50 yards of me. The other deer he was going to shoot at. And then, so that other buck that was raking the hell, the Adam's deer, I thought it was, that was raking the cedar tree, he blows out in the field and goes the opposite ways, and he comes back out. And I'm like, Adam, draw your bow back. He said, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, Adam, there's your deer. What are you talking about? I basically make him shoot at this deer. He shoots the arrow right over his back after that. And then he's like, I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, damn, man, that sucks. He's like, yeah, I wasn't going to shoot that other one. Other deer? What other deer? He's like, the other deer that was right behind you. I was like, I had no idea, brother.
I would say, let me see the 360 footage, or it didn't happen.
I know, exactly. I was like, dude, you got to show me that. I was like, I can't show you the film. I can't show you the film. I was like, dude, no one's ever going to believe us.
When you guys got back and were talking about in the truck, and you're like, hey, let me see the footage, and you're like, oh, sorry, I didn't.
I was trying to, well, I can't off my, off the big camera. I can't view, I can view it on the viewfinder, but it was like, he was like, dude, that's not the deer. Because I was recording the wrong deer, but I double tapped after that. And then he was like, I'll pull up on the 360. And then he's like, dude, I turned it off and then tried to turn it back on. I must have never recorded. Yeah, so that's a cameraman mistake right there. If I would have had my backup, we would have at least had some backup footage of that. But I don't know. I was on the ground, laying down flat with like a 10-pound camera, and my arms were shaking. Anybody at home try to hold a watermelon over your head for about 2 minutes with your heart just spiking because there's just man, it was the pilot. It's hands down. Like, I would take that over sitting in a tree and watching like a 150 come out, like, and then be in perfect bow distance. Like, that's cool. That's awesome. But I'll take that scenario over.
On the ground,
dude.
is
it was the most insane thing in my life.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Single bevel cut-on contact broadheads have been around since the Stone Age, and for good reason. One of the biggest advantages of a single bevel broadhead is what happens on impact. As they penetrate, they continue to rotate, cutting through the animal, resulting in deeper penetration and faster blood loss. With Helix broadheads, you can measure your recovery in seconds. Check out the FJ2 or the FJ4 available with bleeder blades by visiting helixbroadheads.com, and be sure to use the code TFP to save on your next purchase. So for the last year, I've been shooting Coulee arrows, premium arrows for every archer. Coulee Archery is known for their revolutionary black centrifugal weave, delivering unmatched durability, penetration, and downrange accuracy. Now, I shot 3 deer this year, all with either an Emphisi or an Ngulabi arrow, and I never broke one arrow. I can still shoot them. They're still good to go. I've been testing these arrows since last April, and the biggest thing that stood out was an extra pin down range. Even with the same spine and weight as my previous setup, these arrows fly truer, faster, and more consistently. The best part is Coulee has arrows for everyone: beginners, seasoned hunters, or competition shooters. If you're in the market for new arrows, check them out at CouleeArchery.com. And right now, for Fall Podcast listeners, use the code FALL15 at checkout to save on your next purchase. Coulee Archery, where innovation meets passion. I mean, Michigan Buck Pole is the home of Michigan hunters. You can share your harvest, browse stories from across the state, and filter by method, time of day, or county. Join the community at mibuckpole.com and follow at mibuckpole for updates and highlights.
What, talking about, so that chaotic part was probably one of the lowest of lows probably for the fall for you. What was the most rewarding, moment of the fall when you were filming? Like, when you film something, you're like, man, that was it right there.
Probably Adam's Bear. Adam's Bear was probably one of my favorite hunts.
Okay.
But the other ground one where he did get a deer, that was pretty cool. But I think Adam's Bear was probably my one of my favorites of time, like the most rewarding. I think it just, like, the bear did perfect, on editing. It came out slow, came into the site. I got everything on that. Like, it was
a Michigan bear too.
Michigan bear on his own property. He was baiting and all that. He did everything DIY basically, I think. So, like, it was, like, super rewarding, like, just to see him on his family property. Like, I was part of Adam's family, like, because his dad was part of that. Like, I was intertwined with mixing that with video and all that. Hopefully I got enough stuff that was my first time doing it. Like, that was the most rewarding, and I haven't even put out the video or started it. Like, I feel like that was, like, the most rewarding part of it. Like, I seen his traditions become one, and I was there to, just to, like, witness it.
That's sweet. Yeah, I love looking back in those, like, real high moments, even from the past, like, stuff that I filmed in the past is like, man, I remember that, and that's what's cool about, like, taxidermy. You can look back, or photos. So we talked about photos earlier. Like, I can't really look back and, like, look at photos of me playing football or something and be like, oh, that was cool. It's like, that's another reason why we want to do this and want to be, like, a creative. With that being said, like, what keeps you motivated to keep grinding in the video world right now? Is it because you're, like, still kind of new into it?
Yeah.
You're just, like, grinding, like, you love to do it, but,
I think it's just, like, it's almost like a mentally fitness kind of thing almost, but, like, how, like, I can run that mile in whatever 6 minutes. Me personally, I can never run in 6 minutes, but I'm saying, like, you shoot something and you go, I can do better than that. You watch it, or you watch somebody else do that and you go, I like that. I want to do something, but I want to do something better, or I want to do it this way. Like, I want to say there is some uniqueness, or like, but like you almost have to like there is some plagiarism. I think everybody's done everything. Like we're not doing no Quentin Tarantino films or whatever in the hunting industry. Like there's some point where you're gonna have to I don't know, maybe I'm a loser, but like you see somebody's style or something, or see a video or something, like there's a lot of stuff I see and I mimic that's not even sports or hunting related. It's like sports related or something. Like I see that and I go, oh, that's what I want to, interpret, So there's like a lot of drive. I just see other people doing stuff and I'm like, oh, I want to do that and bring it to the hunting industry and all that. Or
I like it. Yeah, I like that. Where do you ultimately want to be, videography wise? Like where do you want to take your videography skills, in the outdoor space? Like, where do you want to ultimately, like, where's that pinnacle for you?
There's a documentary side of me I really want to do. There's a project that I really need to spearhead that's coming up here with the new, I don't know if I really should say that out loud.
No, I wouldn't say it out loud.
No, there's some stuff that's going in the works in Michigan right now that I really I want to be behind the scenes on, and the documentary stuff really intrigues me because I really like some documentary stuff. So if I can broadcast that, and then like the hunting side, like I think I obviously I need to do more on my end of the video stuff, but I would love just to be at a point where I could just basically put out a film quick or a video quick, like month turnaround. But I don't know, that's just me. That's like, but I like where I'm at right now. Like,
are you gonna stay more in the hunting space, in the outdoor space?
Oh, 100%.
Not
like,
NASCAR.
Not NASCAR. No, I don't think they want me. No, and like there's no like I have a great career. I just switched over a couple years ago. Like this is probably my forever career, like whatever. So like I don't have no plans of ever like switching careers and all that, and like I don't want. There's a certain sense of like I build buildings for a long time and all that, and I hate building stuff at home because I've done it so long at work. I feel like there's be a certain turnover if I did switch to the career into like hunting and all that. I'd maybe get burnt out of it a little bit. So I want to stay away from that, and I just personally like that division. Like I hate calling myself blue collar, but I like the aspect of just like, all right, I'm not part of that. I'm just a guy out there in the video, just videotaping out in the woods with my friends and all that. Like I don't know. There's a certain point where I just want to be not unknown, but just I just want to be present.
If there's one person in the world that you could film hunting, even if they're not a hunter, one person out there, who would it be?
Man, there's probably some wild people out there. Dude, I don't know. There's some people out there. I don't know. There's some controversy over this guy, Greg Ritz. Dude, that guy, he really changed my mindset on a lot of things. That guy was an animal. He just could really speak to people, and it's like some of his films. I don't know if it was him or the people behind his stuff, but like some of his moose kills and stuff and all that, like, dude, just wild stuff. But and then I would do him in the hunting world. Outside the hunting world, Matt Frazier, from not parkour. God, now I can't even think of it.
I know. Now
now I'm just CrossFit. Sorry, CrossFit.
Yes.
Like he was a CrossFit god. Like
yes.
that guy was and he hunts and stuff and all that. That guy I would love to hunt with.
Okay.
So
all right, for someone listening that like who wants to start filming hunts and everything, what is the first step you would tell them to do?
Go with somebody. Go reach out
that already knows how to do it or been
just
doing it.
Go with somebody out there.
Shadow someone.
Foreshadow somebody if you really want to just dive in there, I would just reach out to somebody if that was me, or just getting getting to know people in the industry, like these are probably the ones.
Networking's a big one.
Yeah, networking. Like if you ever have any drive to like work in there, there's like a whole different. I probably wouldn't be the guy to do that, but like I've met these guys, and maybe I don't know, since I've known people, maybe people are nice to me, but I've never really ran into too many dicks in this line of the work. So like I think if you reach out to whatever, yes, ask Aaron all the questions you want. He's so not busy, so like he'll answer all your questions. But
I do try to answer all of them.
Yeah, right. So there's a certain point where like there's gonna be like if I ask like too many, I'm like personally I'm not gonna ask this guy this question. I'm pretty sure I can figure it out by you. But there's some things that are professional courtesy. But I would say like I would hate to like if I would have dropped how much money I dropped in there and find out I hate this, it would be that'd be weird.
Make sure you want you want to do it before you go fully 2 feet in,
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you can $500 you have a starting setup, so don't.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're gonna hit you with a couple rapid fires and we're gonna wrap this up. Okay. So a couple of these I know we've already probably touched on during the podcast, but we're gonna do it anyway. All right.
Hell yeah.
Rapid fire: tree arm or handheld?
Handheld for sure.
Early season, late season, or rut footage? What would you rather film?
Ooh. I'd probably do, man, that rut footage, just that golden, just how everything's just so golden. It feels so good on the lens. Like when you're looking at everything, you just, because like early is just the green just blows out everything, and then late just kind of
looks like a dumpster fire. A lot of times.
We'll just do rut. Just
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Self-filming or filming a buddy?
Filming a buddy, dude. Just somebody being with somebody. Just like there's just like I used to be a lone wolf. I'm like I love being by myself. Now I'm like, dude, it's not even fun sometimes being by myself. I love just somebody sharing the experience with me. So
I get it. I agree. All right, biggest filming pet peeve.
Ooh, biggest pet peeve, man. I don't know, man. This is a tough one. I don't know, man. There's
gotta be one. Throw one out there.
Oh man. Because I've made all these mistakes, I can't.
What is something that you keep going back to? You're like, God, like maybe you forget to clean your lens, or like, I
thought there was like other people I see do.
It could be anything. It could be like filming Adam. Could be your pet peeve.
Filming. Yeah, Adam. Adam's my pet peeve.
I don't mean that, Adam.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just feel like there's sometimes some people are lazy, and I'm probably guilty of it. But I feel like there's some people that like, if you really want to, tell a story or whatever. I would say pet peeve: don't have a camera on your Instagram bio if you really don't know what some of these settings on the cameras are. That's a pet peeve.
Is that a shot at me? Because I have one on my Instagram.
Aaron, you are not.
I think I just took a shot across the bow.
Dude, you are not. You're him.
No,
you're him,
false.
Dude. You're him. But no. There's a lot of people that with that in their bio that should not have that. I had it in my bio for a moment, and then I took it out.
Okay.
So
last one piece of gear you won't leave home without. And obviously the camera is like
that's cameras.
Obvious.
Man, dude, ND filters, dude.
I like that one.
ND filters, dude.
FX6 had them built in though.
Well, this is before when I was a peasant and just had a regular.
Well, you do with your A7. You got to take ND filters, don't you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I was a peasant,
okay,
when I had this, this the regular, that cheap camera. But no, ND filters, man. They're like the one thing that changed my game, but because it's just like we deal with like the worst condition of lighting in the world. Either we're overexposed or underexposed. So like a variable ND filter is like one of the things that I always have on.
What one do you recommend brand wise? What do you like?
Oh man, dude, they don't have to go.
Because there's some cheap ones that'll give you a vignette around it and everything.
There's the K&Fs are not bad, for the price, but the Polar Pros are really nice.
Polar Pros are nice.
They're really nice, but switching to that one, so I have built in. But I would say an ND filter. Even on my action cans, I put ND filters.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. On
Okay.
some I had it on my Pocket 3 and stuff. But that's one thing I think, because we just deal with some bright scenarios and all that, and that's I think that can really game change your footage.
I like it, man. Well, Joe, thank you for coming and doing this. Tell everybody where they can consume your content, when they can expect Rome to be, when the content out there they can watch that. Where can you find all that?
Rome Syndicate is our name right now, because we're like a compilation of like, I don't even know what we are right now. So on YouTube you type in Rome Syndicate. I'm pretty sure on Instagram we just changed it to Rome Syndicate. We have other like Rome Land, Rome Fish, and all this other stuff going on. Nate's kind of spearheading that kind of side of stuff. But if you want to check that out, we post on Instagram usually 4 or 5 times, a lot of reels and stuff, but our Instagram's still in the infancy of a lot of stuff. I think we're really going through the birth of a channel and stuff, and where we want to take our direction. But I think we're going to be at like full steam ahead this coming fall. Like we got a couple films and stuff, and then we're really working on some review stuff. But we're probably not gonna be as different as other people, but we're just, most of us are normal Michiganders, and just trying to get out there and just have fun with that, man.
Love it, man. Well, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you want to say?
No, I just appreciate you coming on. If anybody has any question, I will try to answer it. I can give you my do's and don'ts of buying stuff. I do experiment with a lot of stuff, but like I just want everybody to know I'm not a professional. I just do this as a hobby. That's what I do. I have like, do as I say, don't do as I do, or whatever. I don't know what that phrase is, but I'm just an average Joe, dude.
Yeah,
that's all I am.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. I'm just an average Joe. Like, I don't want to say I'm like some film guru or nothing, but I just really passionate about that side of it, and that's the direction I want to head. And I still I'm still gonna chase whitetails, but I just really like to be behind the lens.
Awesome, man. Well, Joe, thank you again for coming up here and doing this. I know we'll do another one, I'm sure. But yeah, if anybody wants to hit up Joe on Instagram or anything, or you can go on Spotify on the Fall Podcast on this episode, and you can comment on there, and I can get those questions to Joe or answer them myself, whatever you guys want. So I encourage you guys to do that. So thank you guys very much. Thank you, Joe, and we're going to cut her loose, man.